Good evening, Lynette Oxley here for SHAC Tactical TV. I'm busy with the interviews for the 16 Days of Action for No Violence Against Women and Children. I'm speaking to Leanne Naude, awesome lady as well, and welcome, Leanne.
Thanks, Lynette. Thanks for having me.
You were involved in a attempted home invasion. How long ago was it? And do you want to tell me what exactly happened?
It was in 2009, February of 2009. We were staying at a house in Blue Hills, and the house had been struck by lightning, so none of the lights worked, none of the alarms were working, the automatic gate wasn't working. Insurance were busy with the repairs, so the house was struck on the Wednesday, I think it was. We came home late on the Friday night, and luckily Tarek and I were traveling together, otherwise I would have been home alone. And we got home, we unloaded the car. As I walked in the front door, the three home invaders sort of stepped into the doorway behind me.
Were they all armed?
One of them was that we were aware of. So one of them was standing further forward than the other two. So he was definitely armed. He shot me in the back.
Straight away, no questions asked?
Yeah, he sort of stepped into the doorway, and from what Tarek remembers, he got a fright, and as he sort of lifted his firearm, he obviously yanked the trigger, so it hit me in the lower spine.
What was going through your mind at that stage?
Well, I fell and hit my head and knocked myself out for a couple of seconds. So when I came round, I couldn't straighten my left leg, and I was in a lot of pain. And I thought Tarek had actually pushed me out the way, because your brain, obviously, under duress, it disconnects a lot of things. So when I turned to see what Tarek had yelled about, I thought it was the dogs, and I thought Tarek pushed me out the way, weirdly enough. It's not like in the movies where you get shot and you fall forward. I actually fell backwards and I landed on the back of my neck. I cracked from C3 to C8, the vertebrae in my neck. The bullet went through my left iliac wing, sorry, I have to remember all the terminology, and went seared across the ligaments and that hold my bladder on one side. So the bladder sort of collapsed in on itself on one side, along my colon, and then through the sciatic nerve, and ended up sort of in the left bum cheek, if you want to be polite about it.
Okay.
Everyone keeps telling me I got shot in the ass.
Tell me, where was Tarek? And I'm sure he must have been quite frantic. But yeah, he dealt with the situation, am I correct?
Yes, yeah. So there was a bit of a gunfight. Obviously, Tarek being armed and with all the training he does and that, he reacted. He fought the guys off. He managed to secure the house, and it was only when he came over to me on the floor and said, "Yeah, you were shot. Are you okay?" And I sort of said to him, "No, I fell over when you pushed me, and it's quite sore." He said, no, I didn't touch you. And that was actually when I realized I'd been shot. Up until that point, I didn't realize I'd been shot. I just knew my back was very sore.
You have mentioned me before about your dogs. Was it dogs or cats? I can't remember. That you were quite worried about them at that stage.
Yeah, so the dogs were sort of, I remember at one point opening my eyes during this whole gunfight, and my whippet at the time, Shadow, sort of stepped over me and then turned around in the doorway and stepped back over me and ran off up the stairs. I remember watching my Jack Russell running up the stairs and thinking, oh no, don't go up the stairs, because it's sort of directly in the line of fire. Once the paramedics arrived, I started lecturing everyone. I was like, lock the dogs up, please put the cats in the bathrooms. I sort of stayed very calm, but I think it was an overload of adrenaline, because once I got to hospital, I was a crying mess.
Okay, so
but then they gave me the seat, so
then things were absolutely fine. When did you
that was fantastic.
When did you start feeling pain? Straight away, or only much later?
Straight away. So you hear a lot of stories about in gunfights. You don't hear the noise, you don't feel pain, you don't realize you've been shot. I think that applies more that if you're actively involved in a gunfight as a bystander. I felt the pain straight away. I had like a burning sensation in my back. I knew I was, sorry, give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Who are you talking to?
The whippet. Excited that I'm home, and now he's chewing on the cat. So the cat's a bit old and senile. Yeah, so I felt the pain straight away. I had a lot of burning in my back. My left leg was cramped up. That was from the sciatic nerve getting hit and obviously going into spasm. I knew I'd been knocked out because I was very confused and I couldn't piece things together. I remember hearing the gunshots. I had my fingers in my ears. I remember the smell of gunpowder. So all the little details I remember, whereas Tarek remembers more of the bigger picture stuff.
Because obviously it's very loud. It must have been, the shot must have been extremely loud indoors. You usually have ear protection on and stuff like that. So yeah, must have been very loud.
Yeah, very, very loud.
At what stage, so did the other guys get away? Did the guys leave or get a fright?
So we're actually not 100% sure what happened. The guy who was the shooter was sort of in the doorway, and then he sort of backed out of the doorway. And as Tarek ran towards the door to close the door, they'd sort of ducked around the corner of the house. It was quite a big plot. And then when the cops arrived, the guys were gone. So that was kind of probably all we conclusively know. Yeah.
That's great that they actually just left.
Yeah.
It's best out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
So you were always interested in horse riding, but not so much in shooting. You said that you then afterwards bought a Glock 26, but you enjoy shooting the AR-15 more in terms of sport shooting. Yeah? We all do, don't we? The long guns. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
So as soon as I could, I spent quite a bit of time in hospital and in, physio and that. Doctors were sort of pretty convinced I was not going to walk properly again. I would always have quite a heavy limp. So as soon as I could stand on crutches, which in itself was an achievement, I went and did my competency on crutches.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Take my hat off you, girl.
Yeah, it was a game changer. I went from a mindset where, my family had been in criminal situations. We'd had break-ins. My dad had been hijacked, but it was never that close to home, if I can put it that way. So I literally sort of developed a mindset of I'm not going through this again. I'm not going to be that helpless again. Went and did my competence. Tarek bought me my 26, which was my first gun. Still my absolute favorite. Carry it every day. Love shooting it. I shoot it better than I shoot my 17, even with the dot.
Yes. And but you haven't actively been involved in sport shooting until recently. You say you would like to do some long guns, rifle shooting. Yeah, so I did a couple of steel challenges, just sort of to hone skills and to keep sort of my eye in. But I didn't particularly want to compete. And then Tarek persuaded me to try an IPSC shoot. And I really, really enjoyed it. I joined Vector, so at least that gives us something to do together. And then very recently, I shot a PCC shoot. I've got another one coming up this Saturday. I'm doing the PCC League. So yeah, that's been great fun. But he says I have to shoot PCC because the AR is too expensive for me. And he just doesn't want to hand it over. You'll have to talk to him very nicely about it.
I've got everyone on his case.
I'll get on his case as well.
There we go.
Tell me, the PCC, what are you shooting in PCC at this stage? What gun?
The new one is Tarek's Colt. You'll have to ask him for exact details, but it's a Colt PCC. I know it's built on, yeah. So I know it's built on the AR-15 platform because he's adamant I'll enjoy it.
They are really awesome guns. Tell me, do you think things would have been different if Tarek was not armed?
Yes. Definitely.
I also think so. And people say that if you give them what they want, they will just go away. Most of the time, unfortunately, I don't think people just go away, and it's not nature.
No, it's I think we're still stuck in this mindset of people break into houses to steal stuff. The guys that broke into our place or our home invasion, they had more than enough time to get in the house. There was no alarms. There was nothing stopping them having an easy break-in, clean out the house. Because we only got home at like 11 at night, so they had more than enough time and opportunity. They weren't there to break in and steal stuff. They were waiting for us.
That is, you don't know what's in their minds. I say to people when I do training, I say to them, you don't know if they're there. Well, they were there to steal your stuff. Are they going to rape you? Which is a death sentence in itself, according to me. And are they going to kill you? Because you never know where they're going to stop. These people, it's not a given that if you say, oh, take everything and just go, they want more. And you say you have a feeling that they wanted more. Otherwise, they wouldn't wait until 11 o'clock. At night.
No, exactly. Like I say, they had ample opportunity to clean up the house and walk away without any sort of, lots of people go on about, oh, get big dogs, get big scary dogs. Our dogs, we had 2 big black Russian terriers who were very intimidating and didn't like strangers, and the dogs did nothing, literally nothing. They didn't even, they were excitable when we got home. And if I look back, I think, okay, maybe their behavior was a little bit off, but it wasn't enough to raise flags at the time.
That's quite interesting. For me, I'm also, we have big dog people. I know you're a big dog person. If they touch my Rottweiler or my Staffy, I would really be very, very, very upset. But you don't know what's going to happen. Luckily, your dog survived. You survived. Derek survived. It's you have to look at the positive side. Have you got any messages for ladies that would like to get a gun for self-defense and to get involved in sport shooting?
I think the biggest thing is learn from everyone else. Go out, get a gun. Don't wait till you have to learn that lesson, because you may not come out as likely as I did. All things considered, I survived. I was fortunate. I'm not going to say I was lucky, because it definitely wasn't a lucky situation. It really turned our lives upside down. I've still got long-lasting effects from the injuries, but we came out on top, and it was sort of the best of what it could have been. So learn from that mistake. Go out, get a gun, get training. Make sure you're competent. Make sure you're comfortable with it. Carry it every day. It's no good leaving it in the safe for long trips at night, whatever that the nonsense is. Also, go out and get unarmed training, because your first defense is going to be your hands. It's going to be, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I train with SHAC, a crazy monkey, and from that, the sheer overpowering sort of presence of a big man being on top of you, you need to know how to buy yourself space, buy yourself time to get on the gun. I did Adrian Rosley's CQB stuff a little while ago. Gives you an idea of how scary a blade can be, even in an untrained person's hands. How scary a stick can be. How a bat and anything like that. So go out and do all the training. Go and do the hand-to-hand stuff, and do sport shooting. Because jokes aside, everyone goes on about, sport shooting will get you killed on the streets, and
I don't agree.
Exactly.
Because it teaches you the basics. You know how to clear a stoppage if you have to.
Sorry, 2 seconds. Hey, what's on our 2 toys?
I have every Friday I interview Paul, and Uji gets involved the whole time. My Rottweiler, so it's absolutely fine.
You're lucky, because normally if Finn sees me on a video chat, he climbs on the kitchen counter and sticks his head over the camera. So.
I agree with this. He, close quarter. I did it also with Adrian Rosley. I've done a couple of courses with him, and I've made a decision that I don't want to get involved in a knife fight. He has a little. He's got a little exercise that he does, and everybody puts on like a white T-shirt, and then you have a cokie.
Permanent markers.
Permanent markers, and everybody gets hurt. It's not something. It's you're going to get hurt. My decision is to get out of the situation and then defend myself with my weapon. But it's, again, you have to get able to be out of your situation.
You have to do the training. You have to practice it. And yeah, the sport shooting, you know, I know there's a lot of shooting courses and instructors where they'll make you do 100 push-ups and 20 suicide sprints and pick up a gun and shoot. That doesn't emulate an adrenaline dump. No. I've done both. You know, I've ridden it myself to exhaustion. I know the difference between being tired and having an adrenaline dump. And sport shooting is about the closest you're going to get.
Because you do get yourself under that pressure.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how the box of stupid goes and you suddenly go.
Yeah, I've found myself making plans and finding myself looking like an absolute idiot standing there. What the hell now, you know?
Can't count, you forget where your targets are.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I do feel that it's, you know, I've had a discussion and people do this whole stuff with this, that you go over walls and then you roll around in the dirt, and that's not going to, most of your attacks is, I'm not going to climb after somebody over a wall. I'm going to try and get away. Let's put it that way.
There's also, you see a lot of this stuff where you work in teams and you're boosting each other over walls, and that's great, except have you seen the size of Tarek and have you seen the size of I'm going over the wall first and I can't boost him over the wall, so
I've tried to actually, we've done also a course together, and with one of those jackets, and it's got one of those pull handles in the back. There's no ways I can actually move Paul as well. It's absolutely no way. I tried. I cannot actually pull him out of the way. So yeah.
No, Tarek knows my feeling on hostages and wounded people. You're on your own. Sorry, buddy, I'm running away.
In any case, thank you very, very much for talking to us, and hopefully we'll see each other. I actually looked today, one of my original Girls on Fire pledge poster. Your name is on there, so you were actually with us right from the start. So thank you very, very much for talking to us, and hopefully I'll see you on the range sometime.
Yeah, let's come go shoot ARs together.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, Leanne. I'll speak to you soon.
You too, Lynette. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Lynette Oxley here for SHAC Tactical TV. I'm a Gosa Girl on Fire. I'm not a victim. I'm every woman. Thank you, and signing off.